Hey guys, welcome back to another Yellow Brick Cinema Talk. This is our third chat. Today we have Claire and Jason on the call. And today, instead of focusing on like the channel, we're going to talk about where we live, are the cities that we live in, and what relaxes us about our cities that we live in. And we live in all different parts of the world. So it's pretty interesting, our perspectives on the cities that we live. So I'm curious, I know where you guys live, but maybe a lot of people don't know what countries or cities you guys live in. So it'd be interesting to see how your city's like, what it's like living in it, and also what relaxes you in the city. If anyone wants to start, you're more than welcome to.
Well, this is going to be a little unusual because I do not live in a city. I'm in the far north of the Scottish Highlands, so there aren't any cities. Basically, once you get north of Inverness, there are no settlements left anywhere in the United Kingdom that have more than 10,000 people in them. To give you an idea of just how low the population density is, I'm living in an area that's one of the least populated in all of Europe. There's only 2.2 people per square kilometer here. So the health benefits are obvious. Low population density, low pollution, great air quality, phenomenally peaceful and quiet. And yeah, it's everything you think it is.
McDonald's? Is there any like fast food places or anything like that? Or is it just very, very local?
Dude, we just discovered fire up here last season. No, no, I mean, that's actually one of the things about where I'm at in the far north, is the shire that I'm in is called Sutherland, and there are no supermarkets. You actually have to go to a different shire for that, either Caithness or Rossshire. There are no fast food restaurants of any kind. Like it's very much sort of James Herriot novel, Norman Rockwell painting. It's that sort of environment, which, like if you want Uber Eats, if you open up Uber Eats up here, the app just shows you a screen that says lol.
So if you want your car repaired or if you want anything, I'm so curious. Is there like a, in America there's called a Jiffy Lube and there's like an oil change place. Is there any like mechanic shops like that around, or do you have to drive far for that?
Yeah, I mean there are car repair services up here. At least there's one that I'm aware of on the East Coast up here in the far north. There's probably one or two more further up in Caithness because there's Thurso and Wick. Those are larger towns up there. Now, Inverness, which is about an hour away from me, that's actually the fastest growing city in the UK, I believe. And it's got all the major services, restaurants, amenities, etc. So you still have access to a big city. But granted, there's only about 50,000 people who live in Inverness. So it's, big is a relative term here. But as soon as you get out of the Inverness, if you're headed north, yeah, it gets quiet real fast, which I love. I mean, all the relaxation music videos that we do on YBC, yeah, that's basically what it's like 24/7 here.
I mean, I guess that's kind of perfect. If you want relaxation, then that's like the ultimate relaxation. But if you want entertainment, that's the the ultimate opposite of entertainment. But I guess some people find entertainment as like relaxing next to as I get older. I find, it's funny because as I get older, I find that having more peaceful, like being next to a river or just relaxing, sitting down, I understand what it's like to be old now, and it's coming to me. So where you live sounds very peaceful, to be honest.
Yeah, it's super peaceful. I mean, if you're in a big city, there's, tons of entertainment and what have you, constantly available, bright lights, flashing noises. But as you just mentioned, like, I'm Gen X. I'm in my mid-40s, and there does just come a point in your life where you go, I'm done. I'm done with people. I'm done with noise. I'm done with traffic. I'm done with all of it. And your concept of relaxation really does shift. Where, yeah, I can spend all day on a hillside staring at a beautiful loch in the middle of nowhere that maybe 50 human beings have visited in the course of the last year. And to me, that's really, it is a YBC music video brought to life.
Is there any, is there any like
just
stress? Sorry, is there any like stress that stressful parts of it because it's so rural and there's nothing there? Is there any like stressful moments, or is it pretty much relaxing for the most part?
So there's a couple of things that are stressful. One is we have what are called midges up here, the wee midges. In America, they're called no-see-ums, basically just these little bitey flies. Midge bites suck. Now, my wife can get a midge bite, and she has no reaction whatsoever. I get a midge bite, and it's like a mosquito bite on steroids, and they're just evil, bitey little buggers. Midge season coincides with the summer, which is also the height of tourism season. And if you're on the West Coast in particular, like there's viral videos of just like angry death clouds, swarms of midges and horseflies. I'm on the East Coast, so I don't really have that problem, but that exists. The other thing that's stressful is there's one major trunk road up here called the Spine of Scotland. It's the A9, and that's really the major road that people use to traverse the country north-south. And not so much an issue for most of the year, but during the height of tourism season, you've got people who are on bicycles on the A9. Now, this is the same road that, like major lorries have to drive and everyone else has to drive. And that can turn into a real problem when you've got a bike going uphill at, 4 miles an hour, and you've got a queue of cars behind it that stretches from here to Shetland. And it becomes a problem because then people get impatient and they try to speed around and pass whatever, and you get car accidents. So those are the two things I can think of that are pretty stressful. But outside of that, it's genuinely pretty peaceful here.
I mean, that sounds pretty relaxing, to be honest. Yeah, that sounds very relaxing.
Jason, do you find being removed from a lot of services stressful? Evan mentioned car services or mechanic. If there's things that really need fixing or sorting out, do you find that stressful to have to go and find someone or actually drive quite a way to get to it?
Not really. It's one of these things where if you know that you need to get stuff done, you plan ahead. So I'm going to do a supermarket run, which means I'm going to the village of Tain, and that's in Easteros. That's about 20-25 minutes away. So what other errands can I combine with that? Sometimes you do have to wait a little bit. Like if you need tradespeople for something, you need a joiner, plumber, something like that. They're always in demand and there aren't many of them. So the trade-off is if you live up here, you're a bit more self-sufficient by default. Like we just had Storm Flores, which was basically a North Atlantic hurricane blow through here. But the architecture is built for it. And if you live up here, you understand, okay, power could get knocked out, have a backup generator. And, it's kind of interesting. It's almost like a Mother Nature's selection algorithm. You kind of know if it's for you up front or if it's not for you. So the people who gravitate to remote rural areas like this, they know already what they're in for. So I would say the impact is fairly minimal on my end, but obviously, when I was born, a third of the human race was urbanized. Today, it's over 50%. By 2050, it'll be 2/3, actually above 2/3. So fewer and fewer people are going to have any familiarity with slower rural living. And as a result, adapting to country life is going to become harder for people over time if they choose to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think the only stressful thing is if you go to the store and you forget the butter, and then you have to realize, oh man, I gotta drive an hour to get butter now to make my ingredients, my pancakes. But other than that, it sounds pretty nice. Or
you could just go to McDonald's. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, you can look on like their menu online, but also I'm getting online. You use Starlink, or do you have? It's sort of like obviously. I wouldn't know. Do you have fiber up there, or do you have? Is it satellite, or how's internet over there?
Carrier pigeon. So yeah, the way it works up here, there is fiber in some of the towns along the A9 corridor, but most of the far north is still pretty remote. Internet coverage is still kind of spotty. Satellite internet is a game changer. Right now, the market leader is Starlink, and that's what I'm using. What's kind of interesting is because I'm so far north, I'm right on the edge between the main Starlink constellation and the polar orbit satellites. Gives you an idea of how far north I am. But it's one thing where, without satellite internet, I couldn't live here because I wouldn't be able to do my job. And in time, there will be, more LEO satellites providing more coverage and more competition in the marketplace, driving prices down. But yeah, if you get into a spot that has fiber, that's pretty awesome because it is relatively rare up here.
Is cell coverage as well? Is it pretty rural, or do you have 5G?
It's hit and miss. I mean, there is 5G coverage in most of the major areas, again, along the A9 corridor in particular. But a couple of things to keep in mind is, once you get out of the little clusters of towns and villages, cell coverage can become spotty. But the other factor is, a lot of these structures that are up here were built hundreds of years ago. I mean, the house that I'm in is a 19th century cottage with, the original stone walls. And so, like, if I go to the village that I'm closest to, I can stand in the middle of the village and I have stone structures all around me and the signal just dies. So it's something to be conscious of is, architecture also plays a factor up here.
I mean, same with London, central London. You walk around with a cell phone, you're like, oh, I got 5G, and then all of a sudden you have no signal. So it's kind of the same a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, London's interesting because you've got, these vertical concrete canyons and yeah, I mean, I lived in London for years before moving up here, and it's a great town, but yeah, no, my blood pressure was 600 psi. I needed to get out.
That was actually going to be my question to you, Jason, was, if I'm remembering correctly, you've been in Scotland for probably going on a year now. And have you noticed other sort of physiological changes having moved from a really high-paced city like London to the countryside?
Yeah, it's been under a year. I mean, I've been house hunting up here for quite a while, but I've only lived up here for about 6 months. But it's night and day. I mean, where I lived in London, I was in a good part of London, but I was across the street from a police station. So it was safe, but 3 a.m., sirens, people screaming, traffic bottlenecks, foxes screaming, just everything you would expect in a big city. And, again, if you're younger, particularly if you're wired for urban living, awesome. I'm old and grumpy. And so coming out to the countryside where, I mean, there were more people that were living in my block of flats in London than live in the village that's closest to me. I'm sleeping better. It's peaceful. I can feel my stress level in general is just significantly lower. I mean, a lot of the people who are up here, like, houses are generally unlocked. Like, you just walk in if you want. It's that kind of sort of high trust environment. And for me, it's made a world of difference. I'm just way, way more centered than I used to be. And again, it's not for everyone. There are trade-offs when you live rural. The biggest one being, if you need medical services, Yeah, I mean, there are medical services close by, but for anything major, it's an hour to Inverness. A lot can happen in an hour. So you have to factor in and weigh out the pros and cons. But, if for me, there's no question. It's where I'm at in life. This is just so much better.
And you move your body too a lot more. I mean, I've noticed even for myself, I, sit at a desk in the middle of the city, but I don't move as much as I should. And with where you're at, you have to move around. I mean, you have to at least get in your car and travel, and there's a lot of probably different things you have to do versus me. And so I find that moving your body really, it's really good for you actually. Now I see, I'll get to where I live soon, but I see 90-year-old ladies, they're in better shape than me, and I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? And so it's got to be good for your health, much better than sitting down all day and locked in a room. So I think it's got to be so much better for your health to where you're at. And you got clean air, you got fresh air, you got probably fresh water. You don't even need hospital services up there. It's that relaxing. Your body's just on full cruise mode right now.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of access to like clean water and clean air, there's no question. I mean, the air quality is staggering. There's very little light pollution. So being able to go out at night, and if it's a clear night, just look at the heavens. And because you can't do that in the city. And clean water. I mean, the water quality in Scotland is legitimately the best I've ever encountered on Earth.
Maybe we can insert like a clip of you showed us in our chat a kind of a viewpoint of what you're seeing. That'd be kind of cool to include, because it looked unreal. It's something that most people don't even see because of light pollution. And of course, you're up north, and so you're going to see northern lights and stuff more. But it was incredible, the viewpoint you have.
Yeah, it's just the lack of population density. That, to me, and again, everyone's different, but as far as I'm concerned, humans are not supposed to live like termites. We're not supposed to live in these giant concrete anthills stacked vertically atop each other. And I know that's probably not a popular viewpoint, but I don't care. It's my viewpoint, and that's why I'm here. In terms of the psychological benefits of movement and the physiological benefits of movement, there's no question. If you're breathing in cleaner air, if you have any sort of respiratory issues, but also as you get older, it really is use it or lose it. Physical inactivity is a silent killer. And as you become older, and I'm learning this the hard way, you really don't have a choice in the matter. You have to physically move, because if you don't, it goes downhill real fast.
100%. Yep. All right. So, it just sounds like a magical place. Now you're up north in Scotland. Is it Scotland, correct? Sorry, I always get them mixed up. Not Ireland, but Scotland. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm actually significantly further north than Ireland. And it's kind of interesting. You have the British Isles, which are different from the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And then Scotland is a constituent country within the United Kingdom. It's the northern end of the UK. And the far north is generally defined as consisting of the areas of Sutherland, Caithness, and those two are on the mainland. It's that northernmost thumb of Scotland that sticks up. And then the surrounding island environments, so the Outer Hebrides, Orkney, and Shetland. Shetland is kind of interesting because it's actually closer to Bergen in Norway than it is to most of the UK. And Shetland and Orkney actually used to be part of the Kingdom of Norway until 1472. So it's a very different environment, particularly since the cultural heritage here like the Romans never got this far north. The Anglo-Saxons never got this far north. So the cultural heritage here is Pictish, Gaelic, and Nordic. It's this very unique fusion of Northwestern European cultures up here that you just don't really find anywhere else. It's a really interesting place.
Is the accents pretty thick up north, or are they kind of blank? Because since it's such a blend of culture, is it quite prominent in the accents that people have, or is it? I mean, I've never been that far up north. I've been to London I stayed in London for over a year, but haven't gone too far up north. I'm just curious on what it's like.
That's the big joke, is that the further north you go, the thicker and more unintelligible the accents get. I honestly think that's a bit of an urban legend designed really just to propagate, sort of in humor cultural myths. I personally have not had any issue understanding anyone up here. If anything, I'm very self-conscious about the fact that my accent is the one that sounds really out of place and strange and bizarre. If you want to get a good idea of how thick it could get, there's a really good TV show called Shetland. And, those actors, I mean, it's filmed in the Central Belt. It's filmed mostly around Glasgow. But the actors are doing what I believe is a pretty proper Shetland accent. That could be a good litmus test. Because if you can understand that accent, that's about as far north as you can get. And I personally have no trouble with it. So your mileage may vary. But like Robin Williams has a very famous routine about getting off the plane in Scotland and trying to understand what anyone's saying. I've honestly never had any problems.
I mean, that's pretty interesting. I would love to go up there sometime. It's so funny because you're so far up north. I mean, it's so different. And then we have Claire, which is in the bottom of South Africa. As she said, our latest video that we posted was at the bottom of South Africa, and she was she took a beautiful video of seaside. I mean, Claire, I have no idea what South Africa is like. I've never been to South Africa, so I'm super curious to see what your area is like. If it's relaxing, I mean, it looks so beautiful and really. Yeah, everyone here has like very beautiful areas that they live in. It's kind of unique in its own way. But Claire, I mean, if you want to share it, more than welcome to talk about what it's like over there.
Yeah, so much like Jason, I also moved from a busy city to the coast. Definitely not as isolated as Jason, I don't think, but also in a very small town. A lot of people in our country probably wouldn't know where Plettenberg Bay is. It's along the Garden Route, a really popular tourist spot in our country, but it's the type of place that tourists visit, but people generally don't move down here to live permanently, especially, younger people. It's more of a retirement community. That is changing, though, I must say. It's funny, we moved here just before COVID, and we really struggled to make friends and meet people because it really was just a retirement community. And one of the benefits of COVID, I know there weren't many, but one of the benefits was that so many people could suddenly work remotely and started choosing better lifestyles and started moving to places like this. And so, our population has grown, and it's grown with a younger sort of population. So it's it's got more of a vibe than it used to, put it that way. But I used to live in a city, as I say, Johannesburg. I'm sure that's what most people will know if they speak of South Africa. Very fast-paced and concrete jungle. So I've chosen a very different lifestyle here, just nature, lots to do, outdoors. In Johannesburg, if you wanted to relax, you were going to a coffee shop or a restaurant. If you really wanted to get out in nature, it was a pretty far drive. Usually you'd have to take a weekend to go somewhere to do it. Whereas here, you step out onto the the beach, basically. Much better air quality, very similar to Jason's situation. It's funny, when I lived in Johannesburg, I had no sort of issues with the air quality, despite the fact that it was all smog. I go back there now, and it's just thick clouds of smog, and you see a sunset, and you think it's a sunset, and now in hindsight, I'm realizing it's actually just smog. And having moved down to the coast, I'm actually struggling with hay fever. I don't know if Americans call it allergies, same thing, allergies. And it's the pollens. And it had such a big impact on my health, but I actually don't mind, because I know that it's fresh, clean air. I know that the longer term effects of the polluted air would have caused problems down the line. But it's just one of the funny things. I'm now breathing in this fresh air, but with it comes all of these allergies and puffy eyes and just running nose all the time.
I mean, so how close are you to is it the ocean? Is it just you're just a drive away, or is it kind of like I'm not trying to get your exact location, but I'm just curious on because the ocean view you took is, I mean, it was unreal. It looks so beautiful.
So that's Robert Peninsula. You can see that's sort of the iconic spot in our town, and you can see that from almost anywhere you go in our town. I am about a probably 7-minute drive to the beach. I could walk if I really wanted to. It would be walkable. I definitely don't. I'm definitely not in the league of stepping out onto the beach like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, it's close enough that we can go, anytime really.
One thing I'm curious about is power grid. I mean, I've heard stories about power grid and power distribution throughout South Africa. Is it relatively stable where you're at?
Yeah, so it's one of those things that generally affects the entire nation. So they tend not to isolate areas and treat them differently. Having said that, there have been times where the bigger cities experience more frequent outages, just to make up for the fact that they are the bigger users of electricity. But generally, it affects all of us to some degree. It was a major problem a few years back. It's actually been fairly stable in recent times. I'd say the last 2 years, it's been fairly stable. I don't think it's at a point where it's totally corrected and fixed, but it's definitely far more stable than it was. It was worrying times, I must say. But yeah, it seems to be getting right.
What's the main cause of the power outages? Is it was more governmental, or is it just infrastructure, or is it just not enough supply for demand?
It's a bit of everything. One of the major things is that the infrastructure's there, but it wasn't being maintained correctly. So you'd have times where something would fail, and it hadn't been maintained to the correct standards. So it would take a long time to then fix it. So rather than keeping it continually maintained and serviced, they were sort of letting it just run. And yeah, that's what caused major issues. Then there've been supply issues, coal agreements with other countries. So it's varying factors. It's a very, it's a tricky conversation to have.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It does get quite political.
Of course.
But, as I say, we are sort of on the up here. And then there's also a big drive for solar. I'm a firm believer that whether we are experiencing what we call load shedding, which is these outages, or not, we should all be striving for green energy anyway. So a lot of people are reluctant to go the solar route, for example, because they think the government will come right with the electricity infrastructure. But at the same time, we should all be going solar, no matter whether we've got load shedding or not.
Yeah, do you see a big influx in solar since there's been a lot of outages in the past few years? Has it, like you've said, people are just more worried about that?
Yeah, definitely. Since the outages became a consistent thing, there's been a big drive for solar and wind power. There's a lot of wind farms. In a way, it's been a good thing because it's sort of forced a lot of organizations to invest in that sort of thing. So in my area and a little bit further down the coast, there's a fairly major city, Port Elizabeth, and it's known as the Windy City. So they've got a huge number of wind farms to generate electricity. So that's been, I'd say, a positive thing. Organized.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm curious about is what is it like having inverted seasons? So, Christmas at the height of summer, for instance.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I've got family from London, and they visit us sort of every maybe 5 years or so. And for one year, they visited us during Christmas, and so my aunt hated it because she's so used to a white Christmas. And it was, I think, 32 degrees Celsius here. And she actually felt a bit depressed because that wasn't Christmas for her. So yeah, it's definitely different. I know you guys, Jason, you mentioned the other day that, is anyone due any leave? Do you want to take your summer leave now? And this is not when we generally take leave. We take leave in December because that's our summertime. And we, same thing, we travel during winter to escape the winter. We've got a lot of, we call them swallows. So people who live in Europe, generally Europeans, and the town that I'm in is very, very popular, specifically with Germans and the Dutch and the English, I suppose, as well. And they escape their winters by coming here in June, July, August. So it's definitely different having the total opposite of you guys, and we experience things so differently, and travel at different times of the year as well. Organized.
Yeah, I know exactly what swallows you're referring to because half the year they're nesting under my roof eaves.
with their mud nests.
Yep, and they are little poop machines. They're pooping all over my deck. I have to power wash it every 72 hours. There's massive mud nests everywhere. And then as soon as they're done, they just fly off back to your neighborhood. And they're like, thank you. We used your place as a toilet. Enjoy.
You need to get some footage. They're actually so photogenic.
Oh, they're super photogenic birds. And I actually did try filming one, and a couple of hatchlings in the nest and what have you. And I think the parent knew it was on camera because all of a sudden I saw a swallow butt stick its way out of the nest and do a nice poop dive bombing on my deck. And I'm like, yeah, that was deliberate, wasn't it?
Oh, man.
Do you find it pretty relaxing overall? And I know you've came from Johannesburg, but do you find where you're at now very relaxing?
Yeah.
And have you lived in South Africa your entire life, or has this?
Yeah. So I grew up in Johannesburg. I moved further north for about a year. That was in like the can't think of the American version. We call it the bush, but it's the wilderness. I don't know if that's what you guys.
Yeah, I think that's what I call it. Yeah.
No direct translation.
No, I mean we call it all kinds of stuff. So but yeah, the wilderness is kind of a proper word for it.
Yeah, so I was living there for a little bit. I'm a real nature enthusiast. doing, again, the American term would be safaris, safari lodges, we call them game reserves. That's just my happy place. So I lived there where there were, lions and elephants and all that jazz for about a year. And then, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I moved down to the coast here, and it's completely different, worlds apart. And much like Jason, just my general health has just improved without me even trying. I used to experience a lot of anxiety and just awful migraines. It was really stressful. There's something about the traffic and the noise and the, constantly being on edge, and just, I don't know, I think, as Jason says, like, over-peopled. It really is a thing. And it was only once I went back to Joburg, to visit people I knew or to travel, that it really hit me how much of an impact it can have on you without you knowing it. You tend to sort of just accept that this is your life, and you plod along and carry on with it. And it's only once you eject from that life you realize the impact of it. So yeah, being down here, much lower population density, far less traffic. We had one traffic light in our town, and even that's been taken down. So there's probably a traffic light here.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. We had one, and we used to brag that we've got a traffic light, and they went and took it away. So yeah, it's just peaceful and relaxing, and decent weather. So I'm big on sun. I really despise winter, and I despise being cold. I have some health issues that make me feel even colder than I should, and so I just want to be out in the sun. And so yeah, it's a much better place for me.
I'm just always trying to visualize, like, when you're speaking about your where you live, and also Jason, like, where everyone lives. I'm just trying to visualize what that looks like. And when you said, and I'm thinking, okay, you go down the street, and it's like a more rural. If people know Malibu, I would think of it like Malibu, but then you say there is no traffic light, and I'm thinking, wait, how rural? It totally throws my vision off of where you live. I'm like, I thought you lived in like a more seaside city. But I've never been to South Africa, so I don't really know. So I guess it is really rural where you're at. That's crazy to know. Wow, that's really interesting, actually.
I will say, Evan, they are busy building a McDonald's.
Okay, that's like the chart of how. Yeah, that's the chart of how busy it is. If there should be a McDonald's chart, based on how many McDonald's there are, is how populated your city is. So yeah. So Jason's at a 0. You're at a 1. I think I'm at like 1 million. So yeah, that's.
Well, I definitely sympathize on the stoplight issue. So where I'm at in Sutherland, there is, and again, this is 2,000 square miles, 1 stoplight, 1 roundabout, no dual carriageways. It's rural, and a lot of the roads are single track.
Speed cameras, anything, or police, or anything out there?
So, kind of some funny stories on that. There are speed camera signs, but I don't know if you guys have this on your cars. Like, my car actually tells me when the speed camera is active. And there are no speed cameras in the far north. They put the signs up to try to slow people down, but there aren't actually any cameras. There is police coverage for the far north, but obviously it's sparse just because there aren't many people.
Yeah.
So, a traffic jam is probably going to be caused by like somebody's sheep crossing the road. And I'm not even exaggerating that. One thing I'm kind of curious about, Claire, the Cape of Good Hope, how treacherous is that for seaborne navigation and shipping? Because like South America, you try to go around Cape Horn, the Drake Passage, and that's like one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Is it similar for navigating Cape of Good Hope?
I don't think so, Jason. I think it's such, a historically used route that I mean, I don't think so. You've caught me. I don't know the complete answer to that. I live sort of a 6-hour drive from there, so I don't know that area as well as I probably should.
Well, Claire is promising a 6-hour drive video for you guys to see everything, a first-hand look, 0 cuts.
Yeah, and I mean, on the polar opposite of what we're talking about, Evan, I mean, you're in the middle of Bangkok.
Yeah.
Presumably, I've been there once before, and it was, I don't even think I spent the night. I think I just had the day there. I landed in that airport and had the day there before traveling on further. But I mean, you're slap bang in the city, correct?
Yeah, I am literally in the middle of the city, and it's crazy because I knew nothing about, like, I don't want to sound ignorant, but I knew nothing about Thailand before coming here. I mean, obviously what the memes say and everyone says, but other than that, I didn't know. I was just living I'm from the US, and I lived in the Midwest my whole life, and most of my life. Then I moved to Los Angeles, lived in Los Angeles for some time, and then I moved just around. I moved to Vegas and then London, spent some time over in Europe. And then I was just like, I don't really want to go home quite yet. So I was like, I think I'm just gonna, my friend just suggested, go check out Thailand. Maybe you'll like it because you like warm weather. Cold weather is my kryptonite. I don't know, something about me. I think even though I was born in the Midwest, the cold, just after a few days, I'm like, oh man. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna come just to visit here in Bangkok, and I'm like, I'm just gonna lock myself away in a room and just work, and just have some nice weather. And well, that was 3 years ago, and I haven't left since then. So, it's interesting because when I first came here, I didn't really like it. I was just like, it's first off, I'll just back it up a little bit. When I flew here, I didn't even know anything about this place. I didn't even research the hotels. I just said, okay, this is by a popular area. I'll just go fly here and stay here. I don't know. I don't really do the research of things, which is, I just go out and adventure and find out through just searching. And I was so surprised. This city is insane. It's how big it is. It's crazy. And it's something that people don't realize is might see it like when people think of Thailand, at least I did. I thought of, it's very, it's small. It's, maybe a small little city. It's got, some nice, maybe a couple restaurants here. And I didn't think this size, but it's bigger than New York. There's more skyscrapers than New York. I mean, it's insane. It's just expanding so much. And not only that, but it's extremely, like, it's a mix between, there is like, in the middle of the city, it is well developed. There's malls everywhere. It's extremely safe. They're luxurious malls. I think there's more Louis Vuitton stores here than, I don't know, and there's definitely more here than in, I think, California or Los Angeles or something. Just on this, I think there's 8 just down the road from me. It's very strange. It's strange because you still have old style Thailand where it's more authentic, and then you have a mix between very wealthy and it's very wealthy. There's a lot of wealthy people here, and it's kind of a weird mix, but it works, and it's very safe. People are amazing, and the weather is always warm. And we're in a rainy season right now, so we'll probably get out a rainy video out to you. But yeah, I absolutely love it here, and it's got everything that I feel like was missing in America. I do miss parts of America, but those parts, I can get everything here. Modern food, American food, everything. They have McDonald's. I actually had McDonald's tonight. Me and my girlfriend had McDonald's tonight. So yeah, and there's about 10 of them around me. So on the McDonald's meter, I'm at a 10. So yeah.
One thing I'm curious about is, Southeast Asia is one of the major growth hotspots for the 21st century. So, I mean, it's certainly a really good place to be in for, future proofing. Were you thinking ahead, like, yeah, I'm going to be a digital nomad and I want to be here in a high growth area? Because you've been there for 3 years now. So how's that work from like a visa standpoint?
Yeah. So, as I come here, I was never thinking about staying here. It was more of I was just gonna, as a U.S. citizen, I can just come in here and stay here for 30 days, and they always change new laws here. So, but it was 30 days, and then you extend for another 30, and then you get another 30, and then there's different visa routes you can take. There's digital nomad visas, there are student visas, there are Muay Thai visas where you can just go to Muay Thai school and you can get a visa for that. There's business visas. There's all kinds of visas here, and there's our opportunities, investment visas. So yeah, it's great for a foreign person. If you come here, there's always some kind of option that allows you to stay long term. So that's a plus. But yeah, my intent was never to stay here long term. It just so happened to be. I just noticed things around this. I go, it's growing at a rapid pace. I see a lot of, it's close to China. I'm really into innovation and growth, and I like to understand different cultures. I like to see different cultures and different people and just understand their worlds. But I never really, everyone probably thinks that my dream would be like, I'm going to go to Phuket. But I don't like bugs. I hate bugs. I'm like, oh, like one of those guys. And then when I see a bug, and so I was never planning on going to Phuket or anything like that. But yeah, Bangkok has everything I need. But I also don't leave my place, so I don't know. So I'm like encaging myself.
Evan, you seem to have only lived in cities. Is that sort of, are you just a city person? Like where I live, we have friends and family who visit us, and they rave about how amazing Plate is and it's beautiful and stunning and all of this, but then they say they could never live here because they like what a city has to offer. Is that sort of your take on things as well?
Yeah, it's kind of, I think it's because, so as I get older, because I lived in Chicago, Los Angeles, but I also was born in Michigan, which is a very rural town in Michigan. And as I live, I'm always kind of like, it's like a tug and pull. Now I just have to make enough money where I can have both, That's like the dream is, I got a home here, but I think there's a couple of reasons why I like the city. Is the convenience of everything. Obviously, if I need something, I can press a button. I don't even look at food apps. It's just, I press a button and someone arrives on a scooter within 5, 10, 15 minutes with my fresh food. There's no Uber, and I don't have to make anything because I burn everything. So it's nice to have that at the convenience. Also hospitals. Over here, I have Crohn's disease, which is, it's like a gut disease for stomach issues, where I need medical attention sometimes, where I need to go to the doctor, constant doctor visits. So over here, it's great to get, the hospitals are unreal, at top of the line. And I'm not trying to hype this place up to something super special, but it really is they really take good care of you, and it's very, they speak English. Most people speak English or know a little bit English. So as a foreigner, it's great to live here. There's very, very, very little negatives that come with this place. But yeah, I think it's just the convenience is why I love the city. But I think I would love to eventually have more of a homestay like you guys have. But due to my hospital, how I have to go to the doctor, medication, and me not knowing how to cook, that will kill me first, is my own cooking. So I have to have convenience.
I find it interesting how countries that have tourism as their main sort of form of income, their main sorry, I'm blanking. That's their main. There we go. Their main industry. The people there are always friendly and welcoming. It's almost ingrained in them to be hospitable because that is their biggest industry. And so I can fully understand why you feel at home there. I mean, I know when I went to Thailand, it was all about tourism and keeping the tourists happy. And I think that probably counts a lot for your comfort.
It really does. I mean, the Thai people are just in general, just the nicest people I've ever, it kind of like, I almost feel like I need to go to somewhere bad in the world because I need to toughen up because I've been too like you go outside, I can wear, if I have I can wear a Rolex, I can have money out of my pockets. I'm never going to get robbed. I'm never going to get I've never in 3 years felt danger one time here. Never once have I felt, oh my gosh, I should beware. Like, no, girls walk out on the streets at 2 a.m. down the streets by themselves, dark, no problem, because it's very peaceful country, and that's what I love about it. But I'm also like, if I go back to America, I feel like I gotta toughen up a little bit because I've gotten too soft over here. So, but yeah, I think that's what it's very important. Like that's why I think I love it here. I think I'm much less stressed out than I was in America or England. It's if I want to go, it's an hour flight to Phuket, which is people travel across the world to. It's an hour flight for me. I can travel 3 hours to Hua Hin, which is another beach town. I can go to another Clearwater island that's 3 hours away. I can go up to Chiang Mai. So, and I can go to China. Japan is 4 hours away, I believe. And I love just I'm not like trying to put down America here, like, oh, America's the worst, but I love the Asian culture. I just love, I think it's very, I just love it. So it's very calming for me, at least.
Yeah. It's funny, I call it the bubble, like the Plet bubble where I live, because I feel similarly that I've found my happy place, and I almost feel like I'm in this bubble and I'm sheltered from a lot of negativity, and I'm living in this like dreamland, and someone will pop the bubble one day, and or if I ever have to leave this place, I don't think I'll survive. Like, I don't have the coping skills anymore to survive traffic and crime and hostility and people. I get you. It's like you're living in a place where you're so happy and calm, but you're almost like, no, I need to go out and experience the real world so I don't lose my my street smart.
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned that, because I think one of the biggest things I'm like anxious about is I'm like, one day there's gonna be a SWAT team kicking in my door and they tell me to get out of the country. I'm like, even though I don't do anything wrong, but I've ingrained I've had so much confidence here to like ingrain my life here. I have more stuff here than I have in America. I have a car here. I got bikes here. I got I built a life here. So it's, if they kick me out, I'm like, where do I go? But yeah, I do feel that bubble though. I do feel like there's a little stress bubble where I'm like, please, nobody pop that bubble.
I do sympathize with that, because it's one of those things that gets worse with age, where I've been in some interesting environments, and it gets to a point where you kind of look around at the world outside and contrast it with what you see screaming at you on the TV, and you go, no, TV off. What matters is the environment that you've worked your tail off to get to, and then you want to preserve it, and you want to preserve your place in it, and that, I think, I mean, ultimately, what are we offering? We're offering relaxing music. Why? Because people need to relax. They need to chill. It is legitimate therapy. And all of us can remember where we were in our lives, where, you're fighting to get to where all of us are at now. And sometimes just that little bit of extra help to get there. I think that matters. It's a public utility, effectively, what we're doing here.
Yeah, and it's universally understood. I think, it crosses cultures and borders, and it's something that anyone can understand and feel the effects of.
I think you guys make a great point. Is it doesn't matter where you're from in this world. Like, for instance, I'm a U.S. citizen. I think of everywhere as you can be relaxed anywhere. Like, you're not confined to a certain area. Jason got out of the city of London. Claire left Johannesburg to a more relaxing place, and it's all about where you find yourself relaxed. Ultimately, like some might find them relaxed in the city. Like myself, sometimes I feel relaxed going outside and just seeing how the city's being built. I like chaos. I guess it calms my mind, but others find it in calming water or rural areas. So, I mean, it's been interesting, and that's why we want to bring perspectives from all of us, because not only is relaxation, like, I think it's not only about like looking at a pond for 6 hours, but it could be, seeing traffic by, people watching. It could be seeing cliffside, ocean water. It could see, even a bench or someone just painting something. So I think the relaxation is in all forms and factors. It's just not defined by one specific area, one specific genre. It could be anything someone can find relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, we all have such different needs, and what makes me happy might not make you happy. Some people need to be in a city for the social aspect, and there's people I know, as I say, who could never live where I live because they need the energy, they need the vibe, they need the multitude of restaurants to go to and the people to meet. Others find that completely overwhelming and stressful, and just want to escape that. And we all just have different wants and needs, and it's all about what works for you at the end of the day. And I think the tricky part is just discovering what it is that works for you and making that move. Because sometimes making the move in itself can be scary. We're very lucky where we are. We live in a holiday town, basically. And in December, which is our, height of summer, it's when everyone takes their long breaks from work and takes leave. And a lot of our country flocks to where we are. So our town becomes insanely overpopulated. Our infrastructure struggles. Our traffic is just, on another level. Our beaches are packed. And a lot of the locals in our town just despise it. They become little hermit crabs, and they do a big monthly shop, and they lock their doors and they stay inside. For one, I love it because, for 11 months of the year, it's calm, it's relaxed. And then for that 1 month, I get the energy and the vibe and the social thing that I've missed from living in a city. And then come sort of middle of January, everyone leaves and we're back to calm. So it's just about, what each person needs and needs to feel happy and comfortable and relaxed.
I 100% agree. Yep. I think that it's just about what you find ultimately calms you. And we each found our own calmness, and you can see it in our videos.
Bagpipes. Need more bagpipes.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a great chat just to understand where everyone's from. Obviously, we have two other members that are not on the call, but one is from South Africa and one is from Los Angeles. Los Angeles, I'm sure you guys, if you're from America, know everything about. So I'm sure you've seen enough video of that, or understanding of that. But yeah, I appreciate both of you guys for joining this talk. Next week, we're having a new topic where we talk about something else and about relaxation. And again, any other last words, more welcome to say it. And other than that, I think everything is good.
Yeah, just come visit South Africa. You'll love it.
I would love to come visit South Africa sometime. I think it's and even where Jason's at. I mean, I'm super curious and I have to, I have to go from a million streetlights to traffic to not one streetlight and no traffic. So I would love to come visit those areas sometime. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are totally welcome up here in the far north. I mean, the Highlands are pretty epic. And yeah, at night, you stare outside if there's no moon and it's just a void because there's no light. So it's pretty epic. You guys should come up here sometime.
I mean, it's on my bucket list to see the Northern Lights, so I might just take you up on that one day, Jason.
And if you guys ever want McDonald's, if you come over, no, I'm just kidding. There's way more to Bangkok. There's giant. I'm gonna take a park tour and show that there are mega parks here where you feel like you're so isolated, and it's in the middle of the city. And yeah, it's gonna be. I'll show everyone like how calm the middle of a city can actually be. So yeah, I mean, I think this was a great to. I mean, this actually made me find out more about where you guys live and how you guys live. So it's super interesting for me and maybe for the viewers as well.
Yeah, no, good chat. Good chat.
All right, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And until next week, we'll see you then with a new talk and a new topic. Thank you, everyone.